It was a crisp October morning in 2023, the kind of day where the air feels clean and the water at Willow Creek sparkles like a sheet of glass. I'd been looking forward to this Saturday for weeks, a rare break from endless work calls and emails. Just me and my 8-year-old son, Ethan, out on the dock fishing. Ethan had been begging me to take him out to catch his first real fish, and today was perfect. No deadlines, no distractions, just the two of us, a thermos of cheap coffee for me, and a juice box for him. He was practically bouncing with excitement, his little hands fumbling with the fishing rod as I showed him how to cast. Then, out of nowhere, he got a tug on his line. "Dad, Dad, I think it's a big one," he shouted, his voice high with joy. Sure enough, he was reeling in a decent-sized trout. His face lit up like it was Christmas morning. That's the kind of moment you live for as a parent, the kind that makes everything else fade away. But before we could celebrate, I heard its harp, aggressive footsteps clacking down the wooden dock. Thump, 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 like someone was marching to war. I turned to see Vanessa Hartley, a tenant from one of my rental properties, storming toward us. I'd only known her as the neighbor who always had a complaint: too many leaves in her yard, someone's dog barking too loud. She was dressed like she'd just stepped out of a lifestyle catalog. Perfectly styled auburn hair, designer sunglasses perched like a tiara, and a clipboard clutched like it was her scepter. Her face, though, was pure fury, eyes blazing as she waved that clipboard like a weapon. "Excuse me," she bellowed, loud enough to startle Ethan so badly his line tangled in the dock posts, and his trout slipped back into the water. 3 weeks of planning this trip, and this woman just scared away my kid's first catch. "You need to stop this right now," she continued, her voice shrill. "This is a violation of community regulations." I blinked, confused. Community regulations? My grandfather built Willow Creek to be a haven from exactly this kind of nonsense. No HOAs. No busybodies telling you how to live. But Vanessa was just getting started. Ethan hid behind me, his excitement replaced by fear, as she whipped out a laminated document that looked official enough to fool someone not paying close attention. It had fancy borders, legal jargon, even a notary stamp. "Willow Creek Residents Association Emergency Assessment," she declared, reading it like she was serving a warrant. "All residents owe $350 for urgent creek maintenance, plus $30 for youth fishing permits." She pointed at Ethan like he was some kind of outlaw. I had to bite back a laugh. This woman was demanding I pay her to fish on my own property with my own son. The nerve was staggering. "Vanessa," I said, keeping my voice steady for Ethan's sake, "there's no association here. You might be mixed up." But reasoning with her was like trying to calm a wildfire. "Don't you dare gaslight me," she snapped, her voice hitting a pitch that could shatter glass. She started snapping photos of us with her phone, muttering about state regulations and waving around what looked like official bylaws. I'll give her credit, the fake documents were convincing, with forged signatures and professional formatting. Ethan tugged at my shirt, his voice trembling. "Dad, are we in trouble?" That's when my patience started to crack. Mess with me? Fine. I'm a grown man. I can handle it. But scare my kid? Nobody gets to make my son feel like he's done something wrong for fishing with his dad. I put my arm around Ethan, giving him a reassuring squeeze. "We're not in trouble, buddy. She's just confused about who's in charge here." Vanessa overheard and lost it completely. "Confused?" she shrieked, pacing the dock like a caged tiger, her designer heels clicking furiously. Then she made the call that would unravel everything. She dialed 911, reporting community violations and trespassing like we were committing a felony. I stayed calm, even encouraged her. "Go ahead, call them. Let's clear this up officially." Most people would have been nervous about police showing up, but I had nothing to hide in, a few surprises of my own. As we waited, neighbors started peeking out. Mrs. Larson from the yellow house watched from her porch, probably wondering what Vanessa was up to now. The young couple with the newborn stood by their mailbox, pretending to check their letters. Even Clara Thompson, the retired librarian next door, emerged with a folder clutched like it held state secrets. Vanessa didn't notice, but I saw the red light blinking on Nate's security camera across the street. Every word of her tantrum was being recorded in high def with crystal clear audio. Technology can be a beautiful thing when it's catching someone's meltdown. When Officer Daniels arrived, her cruiser crunching the gravel, Vanessa rushed over like she was reporting a bank robbery. "Officer, thank God. This man's violating our association rules and trespassing. But Daniels wasn't buying it. She'd seen every kind of suburban drama in her 20 years on the force. "Ma'am, I need to see your association's registration and board minutes," she said calmly. Vanessa's face froze. She fumbled through her papers, thrusting her laminated nonsense at Daniels, insisting she was the elected president. But Daniels wasn't impressed. She flipped through the documents, her skepticism obvious. "Sir," she turned to me, "can you clarify your status here?" I held up an envelope from my mailbox, sent that morning from the county assessor's office to Willow Creek Properties, LLC Company. "There's some confusion about property management," I said, letting Vanessa stew. She was sweating now, her plan unraveling. She doubled down, producing a board resolution with more fake signatures and a bogus notary stamp. "He's just a renter dodging his obligations," she insisted, pointing at me. That's when Clara stepped forward, her hands shaking but her voice firm. "Officer, I've got 3 months of evidence about these so-called fees." She opened her folder, revealing bank receipts that traced Vanessa's spending $500 on a designer coat, $400 on a car payment, $350 on spa days, all funded by the $350 fees she'd collected from 9 families. Nate joined in, tablet in hand, showing a montage of Vanessa's harassment, yelling at an elderly man about his porch swing, finding a mom for her kids' chalk drawings. The crowd grew as neighbors shared their own story: a $60 fine for unesthetic flower pots, threats to revoke creek access for missing fake meetings. But what pushed me over the edge was Mrs. Larson's story. Vanessa had fined her $250 for her grandson's wheelchair ramp, calling it non-compliant. That was it. Messing with a disabled kid's access crossed a line. Officer Daniels called dispatch to check for a registered association. The response was brutal: no registration found. Vanessa's confidence collapsed like a house of cards. She stammered about pending registrations, but Daniels shut her down. "Ma'am, without registration, you have no authority to collect fees or enforce rules." That's when I called my property manager, Ellen, to bring the property files. Vanessa sensed trouble and went into full meltdown, screaming about her authority as neighbors watched. Ellen arrived with a briefcase, pulling out Vanessa's lease signed by her and me, the property owner. Vanessa's face went white as she realized I wasn't just a renter. I owned the entire creekfront, inherited from my grandfather 2 years ago. Her clipboard slipped from her hands, fake bylaws scattering across the dock. Ethan, watching them float away, asked, "Dad, why's her paperwork flying?" The neighbors erupted, openly mocking her. I announced I'd refund the $3,150 she'd collected, ensuring no one suffered from her scam. Ellen showed my grandfather's original plans: Willow Creek, HOA-free living. Vanessa's fake empire was done. But Vanessa wasn't finished. By Monday, she'd launched a victim campaign online, posting a tearful video claiming she was a tenant activist targeted by a vindictive landlord. It worked briefly, racking up sympathetic comments from tenant rights groups. But Nate countered with a devastating post: time-stamped footage, screenshots of Vanessa's lies, and receipts of her spending. The post went viral, shared 589 times. Neighbors posted their own evidence finds for birdhouses, mailbox colors. Clara's recording of Vanessa threatening to ban a wheelchair ramp sealed her fate. The tenant groups deleted their support, and Vanessa's narrative crumbled. My attorney confirmed Vanessa's lease violation: running a fake association was unauthorized business activity, grounds for eviction. A sheriff's deputy served her 30-day notice. She hired a shady lawyer from a classified ad, who fled when Daniels asked for his credentials, leaving papers spilling across my driveway. Vanessa's desperate legal stunts: handwritten complaints, misfiled motions failed. By the notice's end, a moving truck hauled her away. She resurfaced at Pineview Apartments under the alias Vanessa Brooks, but the manager, Rachel, recognized her from Nate's post, now at 1,247 shares. Within 48 hours, Vanessa was soliciting donations for a resident committee. Rachel confronted her with the viral video, catching her in the act. Another eviction followed, her reputation in tatters. A year later, in November 2024, I got certified mail from Vanessa's attorney. A formal apology admitting her fraud, a $3,150 restitution check, and a photo of Vanessa in a customer service uniform at Community Harmony Solutions, resolving real disputes. She lives in a modest apartment, her social media gone silent. Willow Creek thrives, with coffee gatherings, a real neighborhood watch, and a 30% property value increase. Nate's methods are taught in conflict resolution courses, and Clara's story is a local legend. Is Vanessa's change real, or is this another act? Can someone who caused so much harm truly reform, or is she just biding her time? Should communities forgive or stay vigilant? Drop a comment with your take. Hit that like button if this story fired you up, and subscribe for more real-life dramas. What would you do if someone like Vanessa tried to control your neighborhood?